Hello, hello, hello. It is good to be back. How are we, ladies and gentlemen? House of Racing returns for Season 2. Now, you know me. I need to do a quick radio check. There you go. That's all I needed. I just needed to hear my audio. And what I can say is that my audio is crystal clear. It's good to be back. I'm back. We're back. It's time for Season 2. It is time for the Australian Grand Prix, for Formula 2, the return. We had a 1 week break, but we also don't want to make people impatient and wait too long. This is looking very competitive for a season. It's probably the most competitive season we've had since the league has started. F1 looks also very, very competitive, and I'm very excited for this season. If I'm not wrong, we're going to have a full lobby, and you'll see some names that you may have seen in F1. Maybe some reoccurring names in F2, like Gabby and Ozaswaza and stuff. But I think it's going to be very interesting, like for example Nano in F1 going down to F2. I think Matko was in McLaren in F1, or was it F2? I'm not 100% sure. There's a good couple of people who had at least competed in F1 who have now dropped down to F2, and there's a good couple of people who went from F2 up to F1. So it's looking very competitive, more balanced, I think, and I'm very excited about how this season is gonna turn out and just overall how things are looking. There's nearly 20 drivers. I think we can fit one more, so we're nearly there. Now, please mind if I ever yawn or if I just need a second. I had a little power nap of just like a quick 2-hour nap because it is 3:30 in the morning. I love this server. No, but I do, and I make sacrifices because I love it, so that's me putting that pressure on me. So yeah, not much to do at the moment. Like I said, I've gone through everything. I guess I should just introduce myself. I haven't really said anything on my behalf. My name is Jamie Perry, but you can call me Helix. I am your main commentator for Formula 2. As you can probably hear around me, there is no co-commentator, and that is because for the first time, I think, ever, F2 is going to be fully booked out. Like, we're talking spectators plus all 20 drivers. It's going to be filled to the brim. So it's looking incredibly competitive to see that amount of drivers on the first season, on the first race of the second season, is very, very cool, and very excited. I think we're just waiting on maybe one more driver, I don't know. Just kinda, I guess, waiting on Joshua or Jenga Boy to send out a single message in Discord saying ready up, and everyone goes. But yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to be it's good to be good, I guess. I don't really know what to say. in this at this point there isn't much to do. It's more just a waiting game until everyone readies up, and then we get into the action. So, you know. Oh, there's a flashing green. That's Wizzy Boy in the Alpine. Exciting times for House of Racing. I think some predictions I will make from what I've seen over the past season as a co-com, as a reserve com, as a main com. I think maybe I don't want to say who wins yet because it's looking very competitive, but I'd say people who are challenging for like a potential podium, including a potential win. People like Nano in the Williams. I think maybe York as well. I think Gabby, of course, Gabby in the Alfa Romeo last season, now driving for Alpine. Also, Swazza showed a bit of pace. Who else? That's all 20 drivers, so it shouldn't take long until we ready up now. I think Ibar might struggle. He had a couple of technical difficulties. I know, maybe 20 minutes before the lobby was made. Yeah, I think Jono could also do well, but unfortunately he's always been cursed by bad results because of incidents. So we'll see if he can pick up the pace this weekend. I think there's a couple more. Maybe Smoke Wisp can pick up a decent result, and I think there's probably a couple more drivers who I've missed out on. Probably ART Lux maybe. But yeah, I think it's a matter of time before. Well, now we're down to 19 drivers again. "20 people again." So once again, waiting for some type of message to be like ready up, and then we all get going. So it's really just up to Jenga Boy, as you can see, who is the spectator and Formula One driver. I think he drives for Williams, or he may be driving in a different team. I think he drives for Alfa Romeo this season. Whew. Exciting times. I'm sorry if I missed out on any chat in the Twitch thing. I have it open now, so if you have any questions that you want me to answer, just resend them and I'll answer them for you. But yeah, I guess it's the waiting game. I don't really know what else to talk about or do or say, really. I think I am just kind of waiting on the final thing, and we go down to 19 drivers again. Joshua, when are we going? Jenga Boy, if you were listening on communications here, when are we going? It seems to be an enticing wait. I'm trying to improvise here. It's 3:36. I mean, obviously not for everyone. It's 3:36, but it's 6 minutes over when we should have started. This is very slow. Too good. I'm seeing a couple more checkered boxes here and there. It's not very often. Alright, I'm gonna message Joshua on Discord. The HB has to leave apparently. Thank you, Izzy. That's crucial information on my behalf. Because, you know, I'm not really looking at Discord that much. Jesus. F2 chat is looking very energetic at the moment. sunny innit? Yo Neymar, sunny innit? Oh, here we go. We're readying up. I saw the message. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Season 2 is about to go underway. Predictions. Alright, top 3 predictions. I think in P1, I think Nano could do well. He was in Formula 1. He has decent skill. I think he just needs a bit more tone and like fine-tuning to his driving. He'll be good. I think Gabby as well. I think there's a couple other drivers I can't think of off the tip of my tongue at the moment, but there's a good couple of drivers who would be considered for a podium. This race is looking very competitive. The drivers are looking extremely competitive. It's round 1, baby. It's back to 0. It's your boy Alfie, your season 1 world champion. He's gone. He's in Formula 1 now. He drives for McLaren. Right, let's do the settings. Detail, tire, yeah, enabled. But beautiful. Alrighty, now we wait. We wait for a driver to go. Obviously working on setups, working on tire strategies. Teams are working effortlessly to get the cars up and running, ready to go. Thanks for anyone that is joining in to the stream. It is exciting times here for Formula 2. We're just waiting on the first driver to come out of the pits. Not seeing any movement at this second, so who's going to pull the trigger first? The lads says I was so close to being able to drive in the Twitch chat. Unlucky. Yeah, I think it's going to get harder and harder to get into a lobby. I think obviously main drivers will always be chosen first, and that is the Mercedes of York coming out of the pits first. So the first person to make the step out of the pit lane is the Mercedes driver of York. Obviously had some highlight moments earlier on in the season. Comes around the first corner. The first corner is a deadly one. You go even an inch too wide, and that is track limits penalty. Getting very close to the wall there, but not too bad. There's Chesney in the Ferrari. Gabby maybe considering coming out soon. Alfa Romeo or Fly in Undertaker. We'll just say Fly, keep it simple. Not complicate things. Seems to be warming up the tyres. There's the Red Bull of Burn It Down. Warming up the tyres. We've seen him throughout last season as well. There's the Alpine of Wizzy Boy coming around probably the fastest section of Australia, trying to keep a gap, making sure they don't get in the way. There's good old York's teammate Black Charizard. Once again seen him once or twice in last season, never got to see any highlight moments, and maybe we can see some in qualifying and in the race today. Scotty Boy has joined the session now. Smoke Wisp in the McLaren P17. Now let's go over all the way down to York, coming around the final corner to start the first final for the first fast lap. Behind him, if I'm not wrong, is Nano. So let's go through this lap. Around the first corner, gets very close, and yes, does invalidate. I told you it was deadly, and I was definitely not wrong about that. Nano, however, on the other hand, does not mess up the corner, gets a good exit, and seems to be charging through at the moment. Nice and clean through these corners, doesn't go over to invalidate. This is looking very good for the Williams. Looking very strong and clean. Comes around this corner, goes a little wide, doesn't hit that curb, but stays strong. Now pedal to the metal, full acceleration, full power through this corner. Absolutely pushing it to the limits around the walls of Australia, here in my hometown. Now we go into the chicane, goes a bit wide compared to that curb, does save it though. He's going to lose maybe a tenth or two through there. The Williams is looking very strong. Now through this corner, Looking good, it's looking clean. He just only has a couple more corners to go. Do not mess it up, Nano, is what he's saying in his head. Through the second last corner eventually to that winding, don't go too fast, last corner. Pedal to the metal. He's gonna cross the line. What's he gonna get? That's a 120.8. What can Logan and the McLaren do? I mean, still coming around the final corners. Matko in the Haas goes 120.5. That's another 3/10 up the road compared to the Williams. So not bad from Matko. Looking very good. There's Chesney with a 119.2 or 119.2. Yep, sorry. I'm getting confused with Wizzy Boy, who just got a 118.3. What a lap. Wow. Great job from the Alpine. And now all the laps starts to stack on each other. All the laps start to all combine here. So let's have a look at Azza here for a second in the AlphaTauri. He seems to be on a fast lap now, coming around some of the corners now. Fly gets a 141.3, so must have made some type of mistake along the way, but didn't invalidate, so that's at least a crucial step. Around the final corner goes the AlphaTauri for Azza, DRS active. Full speed, crosses the line, and only goes P9 with a 129.3. This margin is looking very tight, but what a lap from Wizzy Boy! And has a spin and loses his front wing, does Azza, but not out of the session. Unlucky from the AlphaTauri. Hopefully he can get out of the way in time. Fly invalidates his second run, and Logan seems to be on a fast lap, nearly invalidates it there, but doesn't. Seems to be on fresh softs, maybe no, 1 lap old softs. Comes around the final corner. Crosses the line and goes P10. Not too bad. Edo goes 127, and obviously Fly obviously making a mistake somewhere along the way. Let's go to Ebar, who is in the pits. Burn it down also coming into the pits now. I think a lot of drivers are starting to finish up their laps now. Obviously all drivers are now on 1 lap old soft, so unless they invalidated, I don't think they'll be going back out again. As you can see, a lot of drivers now coming into the pits, and that is their first stints done, and that is Matko out. That is Matko hitting the barrier, obviously going wide and then going into the barrier, and that has not gone well for Matko. He is out. He will not be able to improve, and obviously everyone who's going to have higher grip. Oh, unfortunate from the Haas. He might fall down to maybe P15. So, unlucky there. So, there's Smoke Wisp on 2 lap old soft compound, so it's very interesting. It seems he's obviously invalidated quite a lot, or maybe just haven't been able to stick the right lap yet. Obviously a 120.6, so obviously has set a time, but who knows. Maybe not happy and thinks he can improve. As you can see with the fuel marker down in telemetry, he hasn't got a lot of fuel to play with, and he does have a spin, and that may be time to head into the pits, as those tyres will be overheating as well. Nano in the Williams into the pits with a P9, 128.8. Wait, whoa, 120.8. My apologies. Nano now coming out. Smoke Wisp obviously making that mistake, so not going as fast. There's Chesney in the Ferrari coming around some corners now. I think that's what, turn 4? Turn 5 now, trying to keep it as clean as possible, trying to go as fast as possible, even though it's an outlap. Can cruise if they want to, save as much tyre deg as possible. Australia is a bit of a killer when it comes to tyre degradation. Kia says hello laddies, and also Kia says hey Helix in the Twitch chat. Hello Kia, it is good to see you here on this lovely cloudy-ish, sunny-ish day here in Australia. Let's go to Wizzy Boy, who seems to be finishing up his fast lap now. Fresh compounds, can he improve on already a blistering lap in the Alpine? Comes across the timing lines, gets a 118.36. 1:06.6, so it didn't seem like he improved, unfortunately, unless I'm being stupid and he just started up his lap now, maybe. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, it must have been, because he's just invalidated and he's going back to warming his tires. No K1, ask here in the Twitch chat. No, unfortunately, we are absolutely packed to the brim. No more players can join the lobby, meaning K1 couldn't co-com. My days, what am I saying? Co-com, unfortunately. Chesney around some of the corners now. Sector 1 coming to an end for him soon. He's 5/10 up, so 5/10 down, and he's not looking too fast compared to his original time, so he'll have to make improvements in Sector 2 and Sector 3 if he wants to improve on what he's currently got, which is P5 with a 1:19.2. Yellow flag in Sector 2, but not too worried about that. Goes purple in the seconds, so it seems we are seeing a bit of improvement now. Now, coming around, very tight corner there, nice sharp edge, but now it's more smooth around the second last corner, getting very close to the Alpine, potentially sacrificing some needed lap time, and purple in the second, but comes into the pits. There's Mercedes with black Charizard now. He's on an out lap, obviously looking to improve, maybe a provisional pole, a potential pole position, not 100% sure. Sam Ross, if I'm not wrong, had a nice improvement there, or at least is improving. I mean, got red invalidating, so I'm not 100% sure. I think it was Burn It Down who improved by a lot. Decent time, 1:18.5, and you know what, to be fair, this top 3 is looking incredibly competitive. The times are very close with each other, and honestly, I'm excited. I'm excited for the race because this is looking extremely close. And if we go to Black Charizard again, invalidated, so unfortunate for him. Let's go down to the lower midfield. Let's go to people we haven't seen for a little bit. Gabby, who moved from Alfa Romeo to Alpine, currently on new fresh tyres, 1:20.0 at the moment, needs to improve by nearly 1.7 seconds, maybe a bit more. So he has a bit of work to do. Around the second last corner, now around the final corner. DRS active, pedal to the metal, full acceleration. That camera angle sucks. Gabby goes P5, good improvement. That's a 1:19.1 for the Alpine driver. Let's go down a little bit, see if we can see anyone else on a fast lap right now. It seems of course, earlier on. That's Gabby, of course, setting their lap. Ozza Swazza now coming around to start his first lap. And doesn't mess up the first corner, which seems to be a killer for invalidation. He does it on the little curb on the straight, though. Unlucky for the Aston Martin, who is currently in P4. Let's go down a little bit. There's the Alfa Romeo Flight. Unfortunately, with a 1:41.3 at the moment, and has invalidated, so we'll have to see what he can do on this lap specifically. Ito, oh, hello, AlphaTauri has a spin there. I think that's Azas, it is. Is he out? No, he isn't, but he's making sure he leaves room for other drivers to get by into. Very interesting there. Let's go back to Ito, who is the only one on an out lap at the moment. We may as well go up to the lower midfield here. ART Lux also on his first lap. Chesney on fresh tyres in the pits, same with Black Charizard. York P6 seems to be on a fast lap too, trying to improve, and no, into the gravel and onto the curb. Unfortunately, won't be able to improve because it is now invalidated. Ozza Swazza also invalidated, unfortunate for him. Let's go back to ART Lux for a second. Hasn't invalidated. He's got purple in the second, 3/10 up. He's looking very competitive at the moment in that Red Bull. Comes around the next couple of corners. Nice sharp edge there, keeps it clean though. What can he do on the final couple of corners here? He needs to maximize time, he needs to maximize his pace. Keeps it clean, doesn't lock the rears. Comes around the final corner. DRS now active. He's gonna see that timing line. What's he gonna get? It's P2, what a time by ART Lux, my god. And that is just over a tenth of a gap, and with 4 minutes maybe can sneak in a potential last lap. Wizzy Boy in the pits, maybe he's starting to sweat a little. And there's Lux going over the corner. I don't think he minds too much. Anyway, let's go down, see if we can find anyone else who's currently on a fast lap. It seems to be Chesney in the Ferrari, looking to improve again. Goes way over that curb, but probably gaining a tenth or two because of it. Doesn't invalidate his lap. Looking very good into this corner now. Smooth it off, trying to keep it as clean as possible. Once again through here as well. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, one moment. I thought that was about my microphone charging, and unfortunately, no, Chesney is out. Chesney's had a spin into the barrier, he's out. Unfortunate by the Ferrari, we can't loom on his death in that barrier forever. Black Charizard on an out lap, York, Black Charizard's in the pits. York currently on an out lap, 0 lap. Old tires, so obviously a lot of people making their final runs. Where's Nano? Nano down in P15. He seems to be doing a fast lap, comes across the line with a 120.8 and improves by 1,000th of a second. So unless I'm blind, and now he's starting his fast lap. It must have been. Telemetry is a bit weird on F1, so apologies if that was the case. The Williams now into the 3rd corner, then followed by the 4th, trying to gather as much speed as possible into the 5th now. He seems to be showing a decent amount of speed into the 6th. And now, as before, not making any mistakes, looking good. Into that corner there, we have a nice bot to tell me I can buy followers in the Twitch chat. Love it. Nano now going into the chicane. Purple in the second. Sorry, my apologies for the lack of correct English. DRS active going into the braking zone. That nice sharp edge corner. Don't want to go over that curb too much, otherwise it will punish you. Over that curb there, onto the next, looking very clean, onto the second last corner, very much followed by the last. What can Nano do in the Williams? Absolutely speeding it down the straight. That AlphaTauri nearly collided, goes P13 only. Unfortunate for the Williams. Will he have enough time? Maybe. Well, invalidates. I'm not really sure how much time we have because there's a constant yellow flag that I just saw it for a glimpse of a second. A minute 56. Is that McLaren on a fast lap? Yes, it is. 0 lap old tires. Now going around some of the corners. Let's go up to the top now, because as you can see, York and other drivers around there making their final laps come to an end, if I'm not wrong. Could be wrong on that, but now with DRS active, crosses the line and gets a 118.8, and I have freaked out for no reason because it was the out lap and this game is broken. And why is this Mercedes not out of the session? Oh my god. What we can talk about is Sam Ross getting a 118.2. What a lap. So that is something I can get excited about. That Ferrari has stuck it on provisional pole, and Wizzy Boy has seen what he has to do. He's invalidated his lap. Will he have enough time to cross that line? Not really able to see because of the constant yellow flag, and Sam Ross will be happy with that for now. ART Lux starting his final lap, and now all the chaos in quali is coming full head in. Let's go. The Red Bull in P3 comes around the 3rd corner, making sure not to lock the rears. Comes around here, nice rotation in the car. It seems a bit of understeer, but it seems he isn't too complacent of that at the moment. ART Lux around the 5th or 6th corner at the moment now. Full speed, pedal to the metal. There is a lot of people going full speed and pedal to the metal. His teammate, Burn It Down, P4, also on a fast lap. We'll have to compare them at the moment. Ozza Swazza, unfortunately invalidated. I'm not sure if they're out laps though, or if they are already setting a lap. Black Charizard now coming through And now that is the checkered flag waved. And Burn It Down's out. And he's retired from the session, interestingly enough. And ART Lux seems to have made a spin. So Burn It Down out. The other Red Bull of ART Lux having a spin. That is Red Bull not having what they wanted. And with Wizzy Boy invalidating, it's pretty much over for him. His teammate having a spin. Anyone else we can currently see. York has invalidated. Ozaswaza hasn't though. Improved by 700ths of a second. So small improvements from the Aston Martin as we start to close up this quali session for the first round of Season 2. Trying to get as much time out of the tight and tricky circuit of Melbourne here in Australia. Comes around the curb, doesn't want to go too over it, wants to keep gaining time, not losing. Goes a little wide, seems to still be benefiting though through the final corner, doesn't want to lock the rears, keeps it overly clean kind of around the final corner. Ebar down in P18, we'll have to see what he's doing. Crosses the line and goes P3. Not too bad from Ozaswaza. Let's go down to Ebar in the Williams. And Ebar, if you're listening, you are not lagging. You are not lagging. Crosses the line with a 141.3. That's the checkered flag. P18, P19, I'm guessing that's going to be it. Lewis, obviously on some old tires here, so we probably won't be able to improve, getting out of the way of some faster drivers, but I think overall that might be it. So yeah, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is qualifying over. Lewis comes into the pits, but that is it. Everyone has gone over the checkered flag. Sam Ross is on pole position with a 118.2. What a lap by the Ferrari. Wizzy Boy, honestly, with another astonishing lap, was so close. Just over, I think, a tenth behind. Wizzy Boy said, I could have got first, I just had invalid laps, but GG's Sam Ross says in the Twitch chat, and GG indeed, because the Ferrari is on pole position. So great job from Sam Ross. We'll go to Wizzy Boy obviously in P2, Sam Ross in the pits. So good result for Wizzy Boy, even better for the Ferrari of Sam Ross, who just sneaks into pole position for the first race of Season 2. And now everything starts to hype up a bit. Everything starts to get a bit more exciting, because it's time, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for race time. It is race day. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, but I am providing you with the commentary you will need for this race. P19 for OX, P18, this midfield looking very tight. Nano P13 in the Williams. Let's go up to the top 3. We don't have time to go through everyone. P3 Ozaswaza, P2 Wizzy Boy, and on pole position Sam Ross by just over a tenth. This is looking very interesting. So, who will win the first race of the season here in Australia? Will it be Sam Ross, who was just able to sneak into pole? Does Wizzy Boy actually have the most amount of pace here in Australia? The loading has completed. The crowd is awaiting it. All the pit crew doing T-poses, doing their exercises and stretches for the pit stops necessary. I would consider this probably one of the best exercises that anyone can do, by just standing there in a type of T shape and doing that. I definitely suggest you do that, but also definitely don't do that at all. Anyway, 20 seconds on the clock before formation lap begins for the first round of Season 2, and things are looking exciting. Not much else to comment on, except for the timer to run out, and for us to get going for the first race of the season. Formation lap is now on. Alrighty. There's Sam Ross, will now go on board with him, warming up the tyres. Wizzy Boy behind on the medium compounds. Ozza Swazza on hard compounds, so obviously going for something different. As you can see throughout the grid, you can see a couple people on hards, a couple people on mediums, but pretty much everyone, majority of people, are on medium compounds. ART Lux down in P4 on the medium compounds, P5 Burn It Down, P6 in the Mercedes York. His teammates follow Black Charizard. Alpine of Gabby unfortunately couldn't be competitive enough for any higher than P8. P9 Chesney in the Ferrari, once again choosing the medium strategy. A lot of people, obviously, as I said, choosing that option. Edo in the Haas down in P10. Fly in P11 had to improve on his time. He did, went from a 141 to I think like a 120.0, so it was a decent improvement from the Alfa Romeo. Bit of bugs through there. AlphaTauri of Lewis in P12 warming up his tyres. Nano, the former F1 driver for Aston Martin, now driving for Williams in F2 in P13. Logan, Matko and Azza are all been sent back to the grid, so something must have happened there. So P14 Logan, P15 Matko and P17 Azza, but P16 obviously still driving is Smoke Wisp in the McLaren with, I think that's number 69 on the car. Very nice. P18 in the Williams is E-Bar. OXL4 having a nice way of warming up the tires, obviously, just learning how to just really warm up those incredibly hard tires. And I mean, I don't really know how to commentate that. Anyway, Scotty Boy, P20, ahead of the Aston Martin because of his little spinning incidents, also ahead of Smoke Wisp as well. Anyway, everyone lines up for the grid. It's time to stop with the jokes. Stop with the messing about. Gabby resets the track. Unfortunately, a lot of people are going to be disqualified here. Everyone warms up their tires for the final time this weekend, making sure that they line up on the grid as well as they can. This is a terrible camera angle. It's the best you're going to get. 5 red lights. I knew it was going to happen. The lights go out, and it's pedal to the metal for the first race of the season here in Formula 2, and a lot of action down in the lower midfield. York in P5, making a couple moves up. ART Lux hitting the barrier, goes down to P5, and a lot of movement happening at the moment. Down in the lower midfield, there's Nano making up a couple positions, up into P11 now, and now absolute chaos unfolding. A couple of hit bangs there. No actual incident happening, but a squeeze from the McLaren. There is an incident, and that is an Alpine, if I'm not wrong. That's Wizzy Boy. No, Wizzy Boy, who started P2 down to P16, and that is not the start the Alpine was looking for. This is looking very competitive. 4 wide, 2 spins, a lot of incidents. This would have to be a safety car or some type of safety car. Absolute chaos on first lap. Unfortunate for those two drivers. No incident, says the FIA. Very interesting stewarding from them. Alfa Romeo and Scotty Boy in P17 looking to maybe get a decent slipstream to the AlphaTauri. No move made at the moment. OXL4 looking to maybe bump his way past the McLaren of Smoke Wisp into the second last corner, and some type of move there, and there was a spin by E-Bar, it seems, and absolute chaos unfolding here in Formula 2. Wow, the more competitive people get, the more crazy it seems. There's Aston Martin fixing up their front wing, and I guess the rest of the car as well, also putting on some new medium compounds. There's the AlphaTauri of Azza, and there seems to be another incident. That's Gabby. Gabby's had a spin or some type of hit from another driver. Down to P10 goes the Alpine. Unfortunate. Now past sector 1. Alright, there's Fly in the Alfa Romeo, getting a decent slipstream on Edo in the Haas, maybe potentially looking for a DRS on the next lap. Not 100% sure at that time. We have to give a round of applause to Nano, who went from P13 to P7, so a really good result at the moment for the Williams driver, really showing how competitive he can be in a racing environment. Black Charizard in P6, 3/10 down on the Red Bull of ART Lux, but Lux is only 5/10 down on the AlphaTauri of Lewis. Up in the top 3. We have Burn It Down, York, and Sam Ross looking very good. We have another yellow flag. I think that's the McLaren of Smoke Wisp, if I'm not wrong. He's had some type of spin or some type of incident. Unfortunately, that's going to be another yellow flag coming out, but now it's going to soon go back to green flag running. And no safety cars for the first 3 laps, which is very interesting. And he does have a spin. Is this going to bring out the safety car this time? And it seems the McLaren is just over-revving his engine, causing him to spin. There comes the Aston Martin behind. Is he going to be able to get past that McLaren, who probably with overheated tyres? There's the unfortunate sign of Wizzy Boy, who started P2 down in P17 now on fresh hard compounds, obviously probably switching. Nano has had a spin, and no, just as he was starting to make up some moves, he's starting to lose some again. The Williams down in P14 now. This has not gone well for Nano in the slightest. Let's go back up a little bit to Azza in the AlphaTauri. And now, as you can see, the action starts to slow down a little bit. We say that, Wizzy Boy, now up into P16. As you can see, Azza now through that chicane. A bit of fighting happening here in the midfield. The Haas locking up, making sure not to hit the Alpine of Gabby. Gabby's made a decent return back up to the midfield. Burn It Down win, says Shocker, who, if I'm not wrong, drives for Red Bull in Formula 1, in the Twitch chat, saying that DRS is going to be active for the Haas. It's also going to be active for the Alpine. It's going to be a lot stronger for the Alpine, and the Alpine is getting dangerously close to the Alfa Romeo. Make sure not to lock up the rears, because here comes Gabby in the Alpine. ERS and DRS being used. Does he get past him? Yes, he does. What a move from Gabby in the Alpine. Let's go up to York, who, in Black Charizard, I cannot speak, my apologies. In P6, York got a 3-second penalty, so unfortunate signs for him. His teammate, though, obviously the one we're spectating in Black Charizard, seems to be in a DRS for P5 and P4, looking very tight there. Red Bull looking much closer, though. He's going to get DRS here. We'll quickly watch if he's going to be able to make the move stick. ERS also active, looking for some type of move, for some type of decent slipstream. I swear he nearly hit him, but not there, not now. He's much closer, though. Goes around that corner, making sure he doesn't make a mistake. Is getting very close. It seems ART Lux is being a bit glitchy, a bit laggy. Let's go to Lewis behind, and as you can see, that's the DRS active now. What can the Red Bull do? He has a lot of battery to spare with, says the AlphaTauri. You will not get past me. And down in the lower midfield, sorry, we've missed this. A yellow flag, and there seems to be a lot of action down here. And is that a safety car? Yes, it is. So someone's hit the barrier or made some type of big contact. Scotty Boy gets a 5-second penalty with a collision with Azza, and that has not gone well for Scotty Boy in the slightest. And there's Matko. And honestly, no words for Matko. It seemed he was going to have a much better race, but unfortunately he is P20. It just hasn't gone his way in the Haas, and now I can lower my voice because everything starts to slow down. All the chaos and all the panic that I've had to commentate over the past 4 laps starts to slow down. Nano comes into the pits. Ozaswaza now went into the pits. Let's watch Nano's pit stop here. Nice and clean. Soft compounds coming on. That is very early for soft compounds to come on for the Williams. So probably looking for a 2-stop then. His first stop made for lap 5 of the race. Goes through the first corner, making sure not to lock up. It's probably the most beneficial time to put new tyres on to save as much time, not having to heat them up throughout the lap. Smoke Wisp now comes into the pits, having to switch front wing. Matko will join him in the pits. and it seems Smoke Wisp is going on softs, but Matco going on hard. So interesting strategy from a couple of drivers. Go up to the top, but we can see York now comes into the pit, so he'll now go down multiple positions, down to P7, potentially lower. There's Edo getting past now, so unfortunate scenes there. But maybe it's all a part of the strategy, all a part of the plan. And now everyone starts to get closer to each other. There's the Alpine getting very close to the Haas, nearly wheel to wheel, and they know a bit of fighting happening here. Seems Gabby was always ahead of the Haas anyway, so Gabby P6, Edo P7 here is P5, Black Charizard OX gets a 3-second time penalty, driving in the Aston if I'm not wrong, so unfortunate scenes for OX there. Yeah, P8 at the moment. Seems to be a little bit of switching and swapping around for the people who are boxing. There's Scotty Boy coming out of the pits, as you can see. Very interesting. Is Logan gonna... Yeah, Logan does make the move up. Not bad. So everyone's making their strategy decisions. As you can see from P8 below, it seems majority of people have switched to softs and hards. Some people didn't even switch, and it was just the tire they started on. So a lot of people make up moves, a lot of people lose some time and some positions. But that is strategy. It is who can come out on top after all pit stops, after all the overtakes, after all the fighting. P6 is Gabby in the Alpine. Yes, Jenga Boy says an interesting start to the season. I can agree with you on that. So, I have a quick request for anyone that wants to get their questions in now. They can, because safety car is a very boring period and is very hard to commentate a lot of the time, so any questions you want to leave in Twitch, just let me know. Anyway, Jenga Boy, the owner of course, saying an interesting start to the season. I can agree. Those first maybe 4 laps were very hard to commentate. Is that the McLaren having a spin? That's Smoke Wisp going down to P20 maybe? Or was that... No, it was Logan, my apologies. Anyway, all the drivers start to get closer and closer to each other, to the point where it's nearly 3/10 between all of them, bringing the action back together but cooling down those tires. Jenga Boy is asking for a podium prediction. Well, I think it'd be stupid of me not to say Sam Ross, because he's been consistent, he's made no mistakes compared to the drivers around him. And now warming up those tyres. I think Sam Ross will win this race. He's been very consistent, hasn't made any mistakes so far. But knowing me, I'm gonna commentate, curse him, and ruin his day. Burn it down. I think maybe he'll fall down to P3. Lewis has kinda been there and not been there. It's kind of been up and down for the AlphaTauri. I think Lux has a lot of pace, to be fair. I know York boxed quite early there. He's got a penalty now as well. So I think if I was forced to give a top 3 prediction, because I think there's a lot of people who are competitive enough to win, at this current stage, I think Lux P3, Burn It Down P2, and Sam Ross P1. So FIA says that safety car is in this lap. Shocker says, how am I? I am fan-fucking-tastic. Pardon my French, but that's just how I'm feeling. Sam Ross has pulled the trigger, and it's time to go. 5-second penalty for OX, and now I think that's 8 seconds now for the Aston Martin. Green flag running as he goes over the timing line. Let's go to Burn It Down in P2. It's a perfect start from the Ferrari. 7/10 up, and there seems to be action already. And there seems to be 2 wide going into the first corner, bumping away. A bit of ghosting from the Haas, and the Mercedes of York stays in P9. Go down a little bit. You can see the Aston Martin of OX fighting away with 2 ghosted drivers, and then absolute chaos. What is happening here? Absolute chaos. Alfa Romeo now trying to fight away. I don't know how I feel about that ghosting from the McLaren, but it is what it is. I think it's a back marker. I think that's why. Alright, let's go down a couple positions. As you can see, Haas, Ferrari, Alpine all kind of close to each other. And here comes a Ferrari, obviously much faster than a ghosted car, so unfortunate for him. Scotty Boy has a spin though, and that's the Alfa Romeo. I think that's McLaren following him, so some type of conjoined incident there. And Ebar's also fallen down. He's also probably joined him in that collision. York has also fallen down. That was like a 4-driver incident. Something's happened there, and safety car is out again. Safety car is out again, and that, well, what do we have? We had a lap and a half, less than a lap, and now we go back to 0 again. And I think people at the top are going to take this opportunity to now box. I think a lot of other people are going to take this opportunity to get past them, because obviously they boxed in the first safety car. So maybe this is strategy coming in well for a lot of drivers. Wizzy Boy, first of all, Wizzy Boy from P2 down to P17 up to P4. He does need a box eventually. He's on 7-lap-old hards, but wow, very, very interesting. And Lewis in the AlphaTauri now leads. So it seems that people boxing earlier are gonna be ahead of them for now. Obviously, there's gonna be a second round of boxing, if I'm not wrong, like a second round of coming into the pit, so maybe the people in the lower half of the grid now is actually going to benefit, and it's going to swap over again. Wizzy Boy's saying he's trying to go to the end on these hard compounds. He wants to do, hold up, if I'm not wrong, you want to do 27 laps on hard compounds. That is going to be a very interesting strategy from the Alpine for Wizzy Boy, if there's 20 more laps plus that. Yeah, that's very interesting for the Alpine. Obviously P2 and P3 with the penalty, hard compounds and soft compounds respectively between the Aston Martin and Alfa Romeo. If I'm not wrong, that's a blue flag of a McLaren that's in the way there, so eventually some type of green light from the safety car will be waved to get that out of the way. Not really sure why. ART Lux P14, Black Charizard P13. We'll go through the grid this time round. So, the action currently happening. Oh, there's McLaren going into the pits. So, Lewis P1, OX P2, P3 is Fly, P4 is Wizzy Boy, P5 is Chesney, P6 is Ozaswaza in the Aston Martin, P7 the AlphaTauri. Hasn't got any penalties, so nice job from Azza. P8 is Nano, has gone up and down this race, seems, the Williams, but solid result at the moment. P9, Sam Ross. P10 in the Alpine, Gabby has had some unfortunate things happen in this race that have probably cost him a decent result. Maybe P5, P4 for the Alpine, but someone who is in P4 obviously is their teammate, Wizzy Boy. Anyway, in P11 we have Burn It Down. In the Red Bull in P12 we have the Haas of Ida, Black Charizard taking up P13 in the Mercedes, and P14 the Red Bull of ART Lux. Eba in P15, P16 we have the Mercedes of York, P17 we have Scotty Boy, in P18 in the McLaren we have Logan, in P19 Matko, and P20 to finish it off we have the other McLaren of Smoke Wisp. And to be fair, from where McLaren went in the constructors to now, this is not looking too good for them at the moment. P18 and P20. Obviously now safety car is in this lap. 9-lap-old mediums for Lewis. That is going to be very interesting, and he'll probably need to box soon. That's going to be very interesting. Obviously had to box lap 1, obviously, otherwise it would have been 10-lap-old tyres. OX in the Aston Martin in P2. Alfa Romeo and Fly. P4 is Wizzy Boy. He's planning on going along with these hard compounds, as he said. Everyone incredibly close. Let's go to Lewis. When's he pulling that trigger? It seems he's pulled it at the moment. ERS active. Here we go. Green flags are going to be running again. I'm waiting for something to happen. There's the green flags as he goes over the timing line. Let's go over to the Oh, and there is an incident immediately. There seems to be a lot of fighting happening. No incident, actually. York and Scotty Boy fighting away in the Alpha Tauri. Oh, sorry, Alfa Romeo. My apologies. Red Bull of ART Lux getting past the Mercedes of Black Charizard. Is Black Charizard planning on going back around? No, he doesn't, because he doesn't have the speed. Is that Edo or someone having a spin? I think that's the Red Bull of ART. No, it was Burn It Down. Now the Red Bulls P13 and P12 respectively. Blue flags happening. Gabby's got a 3-second penalty. Nano, currently P10, goes on the grass. Down to P12, hits the barrier on the way there as well. Almost like a rebound. There's the Red Bull of ART Lux, now doing ERS as well as DRS. It seems no DRS, of course, of safety car, so my apologies there. Through to the chicane, and that's P9 for the Red Bull. What an overtake from that Alpha Tauri. Great job from ART Lux. Down in the top, though, if I'm not wrong, that's OX. Yep, in the Aston Martin, he's going down multiple positions. Is that Lewis as well? Yes, Lewis has gone down multiple positions. Wizzy Boy up into P1. Wizzy Boy, if his strategy works and he does go all the way to the end, Wizzy Boy could make the comeback of the century with that Alpine. Let's go down to the midfield where we're seeing a lot of arrows fly, a lot of people into the pits, and I wonder, why is that a safety car? Yes, it is. An OX has been disqualified for dangerous parking, obviously planning on retiring anyway, and now we have safety car again. So it's been racing, one safety car, a lap and a half of racing, the next safety car, maybe 3 or 4 laps of racing, the third safety car. So here we go again. Everyone starts to box, everyone starts to make their decisions now, and it seems we'll never actually not have another chance to actually have a full bit of racing, because we're just going to get followed up by a safety car. Competitive, but maybe a little too non-aware. So, Fly picks up a 3-second penalty in the Alfa Romeo. This is not good for Wizzy Boy. The last thing he needed was a safety car, because it would have made it a beautiful gap. But to be fair, Chesney, I think, is on the same strategy as the Alpine, who is also seeming to go quite long on those hard compounds. Smoke Whisper with a 5-second penalty. Check my wing, says Lewis. Going over to Lewis. Your wing looks fine, mate. I mean, as a commentator, there isn't much to talk about through a safety car period. It's just what's happened in the past couple of laps. I mean, there was a decent couple of overtakes. Wizzy Boy, using his strategy on those long, hard compounds, has made his way all the way up to P1 in the Alpine. He went down the P17, so great job, honestly. I am actually astonished by the job that Wizzy Boy has been able to do. Wizzy Boy says, beep, I'm in P1. Yeah, you are. You are in position 1, and that is for sure. But you are being challenged by the Ferrari of Chesney, who is on the same lapped old compound of hards. There's Scotty Boy getting a 5-second penalty with a collision with Black Charizard. No one's actually moved though, so unfortunate for that. No action under safety car at the moment. In P4, there's the Ferrari getting a decent slipstream from Ozza Swazza. And at this point, once again, I have no idea what to say or do, because it's a safety car and it's the most boring period of any race. We've had 3. For my home Grand Prix, we've had 3. Jesus. Alright. There's the McLaren of Logan and the Williams of Eba almost trading positions under safety car conditions. Obviously regulations say you can't actually go wheel to wheel under safety car conditions in House of Racing and in real life as well. Not much to do. Not much to say. Not much for us to commentate, really. I can go through positions, but who knows. There's the Alfa Romeo of Scotty Boy coming into the pits, as we can see through the bird eye cam. Let's go back up to the top. Well, we can see the Aston Martin safety car. There's OX leaving the session. If I'm not wrong, he had quite a large penalty, plus just the strategy not coming together for him. So unfortunate for him. There's Wizzy Boy in P1. So an interesting start for Season 2. Wizzy Boy looking very strong to take the championship lead by the horns. But Chesney could stop him in the Ferrari. Swazza could stop him. Younger, the hard compounds could go longer. It's looking very, very, very interesting. Warming up the tyres to potentially go again in maybe this lap or next lap. Once again, in Twitch chat, if you have any questions for me, this is the most boring part of any race where nothing happens and then eventually green flag and then something happens. Drug test E-bar, says Lewis. Sure, I'll go out of my commentary box to go drug test a driver who is going over 300 kilometers per hour. Such a great idea. Black Charizard trading positions with his teammate York. Safety car is in this lap. Questions can now come to an end in Twitch chat, please. Warming up the tyres for one more time. Wizzy Boy leads. York ignores the yellow flag, gets a 5-second penalty. He's going long. And Alpine, when's he going to pull the trigger? Still hasn't gone. Now he's going. Now he's going. Was he able to trick the Ferrari of Chesney? Not really, and not really at all, because look, he's gaining. Now less than 2/10, potentially looking for a move. It seems that the Alpine has benefited through the first corner, though. Not bad. How's Swazza doing? A bit of movement here. There's Sam Ross looking to get past the Alpine of Gabby. Very nice move down the inside. There's the Red Bull fighting away with the Mercedes of York down in the lower midfield. And it seems to be a much cleaner start for Formula 2. As I say that, we're going very wide, 4 wide. No one crashes. No one gets too hurt or injured, but now we have another yellow flag now, and I think that's Scotty Boy. Oh no, that's Nano. Nano's had a spin, and that is not going to be good for his race. Once again, Nano is having to face out of the points by some type of incident or mistake, and the Williams has not done well here in Formula 2 on debut. But now the McLaren got decent slipstream, has got ERS. He won't have DRS for another 2 laps after this. And now, as you can see, York fighting away with the AlphaTauri. We'll look from McLaren's point of view because this is getting very spicy. Flying the Alfa Romeo, fighting away with his teammate. And his teammate goes a bit wide there into the gravel, has to fight away. There's the McLaren, though, getting a bit wide. Potential move for Scotty Boy if he doesn't squeeze him. Does that McLaren hit the wall? Yes, he will. So a bit of movement there. There's Azza and York now coming into the pit, so that has sacrificed a potential decent strategy there. Wizzy Boy once again going very long on those hard compounds, able to make a 2.2 second gap compared to that Ferrari behind, and that it seems Swazza getting squeezed off the track, having to cut the corner and then spinning. Your pole position setup, Sam Ross. I do not know how I feel about that, and I will not make my feelings known until I have to do FIA work after the session is done. There is Nano and York now coming out of the pit lane there, and a couple more coming in as well. And yeah, very interesting signs, but now it is 2 Alpines on the podium. 1 Alpine starting to challenge Chesney from behind, but does have a penalty. Don't know how many, but here we go, ERS active. Looking for a move, decides not to do it. Keep it tight, keep it tucked in. Here comes the Alpine, though. Got a decent slipstream. Is looking to have decent corner exit speed. Through the second last corner, really sticking to that rear gearbox of the Ferrari. Gets a much better exit, and that is not where normally where you see a move take place. But a really nice move, super clean, and that is move done for the Alpine. Great job. Let's go to, yeah, I mean, not much happening now at the top. After that overtake was settled, there's P7 of Burn It Down looking to make a move on E-Bar. Doesn't make it stick just yet. Maybe he does, sneaks in a front wheel compared to his rear wheel, but nothing can be done between those two at the moment. We'll keep a close eye though. Let's go down a little bit where we saw a bit of fighting earlier on. Seems everything's kind of been separated now. We say that there's the Williams of Nano looking for a decent move on York. If I'm not wrong, DRS won't be active until they go over that timing line to start that lap again. Down the inside goes Nano, and that's move stuck nice and neat, and that's York down in P17, Nano up to P16. Let's go once again to that lower midfield where we saw Burn It Down and E-Bar fighting away. It seems to be in a DRS train, while Edo will have to survive for his life to make sure that two drivers don't get past them. There's Lewis down in P9 fighting away with Fly. It seems Logan fighting away with Samros, who could have potentially won off of strategy, but then you also need to consider Wizzy Boy and other people around him. So very interesting. Yellow flag in Sector 2. Who is that? Trying to figure it out, and that's another safety car again. That is the fourth safety car of this session. Into the pits goes a lot of drivers who seize the opportunity, and I'm sure this was quite annoyed there, just misses out on a potential pit stop. There's his teammate Azza into the pits, going quite slow, to be fair. I'm not 100% sure what's happening. There's York, who I'm guessing must have been a part of the incident, seeing that it looks like a missile. I don't actually have context to the incident. I think Haas looking like a small missile, not really. Oh, Nano's out. That's what's happened. Nano is out of the session now. So some type of incident or spin must have caused him to hit the wall. Oh, interesting then. I wasn't paying too much attention there. I was paying attention to other fights, but unfortunate for the Williams making his debut here in Formula 2, the previous Formula 1 driver. So unfortunate for Nano. That is seeing him out and finishing P19 ahead of OX because he DNF'd before Nano. So now, I don't really know what to do now. Az has somehow found a way to, and so has Eba also found a way to get a 3-second time penalty under safety car. And once again, we're stuck with this problem. Well, 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 we meet again, we say. Wizzy Boy comes into the pit, sees this opportunity for a potential free pit stop. But will this be the death of them? ART Lux, only on 10 lap old hard, same for Edo. Stewards report 15 plus incidents. I'm gonna... Joshua. Is all I can say. Right now, is it... I'm pretty sure it's the 4th safety car, Lewis. Anyway, here is the Haas of Edo, who right now virtually is leading because of the penalty Lux currently has. And right now, if Edo can, if even in like 3 seconds, and Edo will win this. Burn It Down, however, on the other hand, gets past Edo, then it goes back to square one, of course, unless they're on separate penalties, which I guess we'll switch to right now, seeing that a lot of people are on penalties. So yeah, 3 seconds for ART Lux and Burn It Down. 3 seconds for Gabby, 6 seconds for Eba, 3 seconds for Rosa Swazza, 9 seconds for Fly, which is devastating for him. So yeah, that's looking very interesting. 15 plus reports for the stewards, that includes myself as a steward, so I don't even know how much I'll be able to comprehend. It's 4:36 in the morning, there's 15 plus steward incidents. I'm kidding. I wouldn't do what I did if I didn't love what I did. So, the Red Bull of ART Lux now leads. Wizzy Boy down in P4 decided to box for medium compounds. Will he be able to benefit, seeing how old the other people's tyres are? We'll go back 2 tyres now. Oh, Oh, thank God. Joshua, you scared me. Thank God. It was just a prediction of how many incidents there will be. But I don't think you're wrong. There will probably be 15 plus incidents. There you go. A bit more context to that Wizzy Boy on some fresh medium compound. Scotty Boy! Scotty Boy's had hit the wall or made some kind of mistake. We'll have a look using Azza here in the Alpha Tauri. Something's happened. And it seems it's happened along that main straight, it seems. Chesney up to P13. A bit of fighting happening here. Black Charizard is now down to P11. Bit confusing there. Gabby's had a spin. Gabby's had a spin down to P12, down to P13. And that's not gone well. How unfortunate, that's for sure. Makes his way back up to P12 now. Spun under safety car. Obviously not looking after the tyres enough. Over revving. Gabby resets. Oh, true actually. That's going to be an incident. Gabby reset in a dangerous location when drivers were around him. Even with ghosting, a part of House of Racing regulations, you are not allowed to do that. So that's going to be very interesting for the stewards room, including myself. So, a bit of talk about penalties, a bit of talk about the stewards room, a bit of talk about who will win, and just overall the strategy itself. What happened to Scott? Scott must have hit the wall on the main straight or went into the pit lane to retire. Is my guess. So Sam Ross was on pole position, now down to P5. A little fight. Hello Gabby once again, who now comes into the pit lane with a broken front wing. Must have been from the spin that happened last lap. So as you can see, majority of the pack is now bunched up. Majority of the pack waiting for safety car to come in. The incident has been cleaned up, so I wouldn't be surprised if it comes in this week. Sorry, been busy, haha. All good, Kia. It's been a bit chaotic though. You have missed out on chaos. It seems even though Formula 2 is more competitive this season, we have not lost its spark. Jesus, what have I just watched? It has not lost its spark of chaos. It seems the more competitive a driver or drivers are, the closer they'll get and the more occurrent it will to see crashes and hits and just getting too close to try and keep positions. It's more competitive, but it leads to more danger. You need competitiveness, but you also need skill in a driver. Safety car is in this lap, says for FIA once again, and it seems a bit of hitting here from the Williams and the Ferrari. McLaren's nearly overtaking him, going very slow. A yellow flag in sector 3, and that is Matko, if I'm not wrong, having a little incident there. What's happened there? Is Gabby had another little spin or something? It seems a Mercedes of York, maybe. Something's happened there. Let's go up to the... Oh, hello, Alpha Tauri. Az has hit the wall, and that has not gone well on safety car restart as well. The Red Bull looked like hitting the wall, but no, isn't. I'm going for a burn it down win. Interesting, because his teammate, with a 3-second time penalty, now pulls the trigger for a green flag for racing to once again commence. But please remember that ART Lux has a 3-second time penalty. So does Burn It Down. If Edo gets overtaken by Burn It Down, but stays inside that 3-second penalty zone of ART and Burn It Down, will win either way by virtual counts. Very interesting. Ferrari of Chesney though, fighting away with the Mercedes of Black Charizard in P11 and P12, so fighting away for scraps, looking for a potential point if they're able to catch up to the rest of the pack ahead of him. Nano has now left that session. Unfortunate result for him. Now let's look at the Aston Martin and McLaren here, fighting away, looking for a decent slipstream it seems, and Burn It Down does make the move on Edo's stick. And it seems Edo's been hit. No! And Edo's chance at a potential victory falls down. to P11, P12, P13, and falling down the order, and that will be looked at because it seems Sam Ross hit the front tyre, squeezing that Haas and making him spin. So unfortunate for the Haas on that occasion. Sam Ross now in P4, and your pole sitter making up some momentum again, but those old compounds won't be helping him. Wizzy Boy on those fresh-ish tires, now on the mediums, obviously getting a decent slipstream on the Red Bull, but the Red Bull's also getting a decent slipstream on his teammate known as ART Lux. So what will happen here? Because right now Wizzy Boy will win the race off of penalties. Sam Ross picks up a penalty. The only man in the top 5 who hasn't got a penalty is Wizzy Boy. Very interesting. Another yellow flag. I think that's Logan fighting away quite heavily with Lewis here, and it seems to be a spin from an AlphaTauri earlier on. A lot of fighting here in the lower midfield, so we'll have a look down here for a little bit, and I think that's Logan. Yeah, that is Logan retiring from the session, hitting the barrier. Unfortunate there, and oh no, it's another safety car for the Formula 2 Australian Grand Prix again, ladies and gentlemen. Just for a reference, without any of the safety cars, we would have started lap 28, maybe lap 29. We could have ended the race coming up in another lap or two. Ladies and gentlemen, I have no words to describe what I have witnessed this time around. Chesney comes up to P9. He'll move his way up a couple of positions as a lot more drivers come into the pits, including Gabby, including Fly, including York. A lot of people coming into the pits. This sees Wizzy Boy with his genius strategy on 5 lap mediums, now leading the Australian Grand Prix again. You need any help? It's fine. I think it's the drivers who need help, man. They're fighting like it's their life on the line. But I guess that's the competitiveness that people have when driving, man. Which is why you need skill and awareness and all these other attributes, not just competitiveness. If you're fast, but you make mistakes, then you'll still be considered a bad driver. Smokewisp picks up a 5-second penalty in the McLaren, and McLaren not looking good. Obviously Logan has now retired. I mean, they weren't planning on getting points anyway. The strategy wasn't looking good, the racing wasn't looking good. They were down in the that low midfield, pretty much the back of the pack for the entire race. It wasn't looking good for them. Tough track Australia. Well, it is my hometown. Well, not this city in particular. I live another 5 hours by plane away from this place, but still tough track. I live in Australia, but not Melbourne. Anyway, enough about what I do and where I live and what I see. It's time for a bit of racing, I think would be the best thing that we can ask for, because it's lap 24 of 29, and funnily enough, I don't want any more safety cars. I'd like to see some racing. I want to see some clean, fair racing. I want to see some competitive racing. E-Bar with what seems to be a 3-second... No, it must have been 6, no? If we go down here to penalties, E-Bar has a 9-second penalty, even more. 30 laps extra fuel, says Lewis. That is not great. Kia says gotta go, bye. Adios, Kia. We'll see you in, I guess, the next Formula 2 stream. You can obviously go watch Ryan and other people who may be commentating with him for Formula 1. I won't be there. Wizzy Boy, Eba, Ozaswaza are your top 3. P4 is Lewis, P5 is Black Charizard, P6 is Chesney, P7 is Lux, and P8 Burn It Down. P9 is York, P10 is Gabby, P11 is Fly, P12 is Edo, P13 is Azza, P14 Sam, P15 Matko, and P16 in the McLaren. is Smoke Wisp. Sorry, I was looking at Twitch chat. Feels like that anyway. So many safety cars. Indeed. Indeed, there are a lot of safety cars. There has been a lot of incidents, and that competitiveness, once again, without the awareness, without the space and the gaps, it just happens. So the chaos still definitely in Formula 2. We started with 20, we now have 16. Absolute chaos here in Formula 2. The Alpine of Wizzy Boy has shown what a decent strategy looks like, what decent driving has looked like, and has overcome the odds and is looking very clean. And only has to keep it clean for 4 more laps, because safety car is going to drag this out really long, and I'm going to have nothing to do for another whole lap. God damn it. Too good. Black Charizard could make some decent moves if he can stick with this pack up ahead, because 3 of them all have penalties apart from Wizzy Boy. Oh, and that's Lux. Lux has hit the wall or done something. What's happened there? What has Lux done? Has he hit the wall there, maybe? Yeah, he's on the corner. Something must have happened then, some type of incident. Maybe safety car's now going to be extended, which we love, by the way, so much. Unfortunate for the Red Bull, but could be causing us more stress and panic, as this may finish under safety car conditions, which I don't think is even possible. But from what is happening in Formula 2, we may have to make it possible. P5, like I said before, in the Mercedes, Black Charizard, the only man in the top... Wizzy and Black Charizard are the only 2 people in the top 5 who don't have a penalty after pit stops and overtakes. Ferrari of Chesney, P7, finally AFIA have made the decision to bring in the safety car this lap. Penalties galore, overtakes galore, chaos unsurmountable. But it's time for racing. Everyone starts their warm their tires up again. Wizzy Boy has done this multiple times. He's had to start at the front and get a clean getaway. He has to do it for E-Bar now. He has to do it for people behind him now, and people behind have to do it for the people behind as well. Wizzy Boy coming around the second last corner. When's he gonna pull the trigger? He's really trying to gain some momentum. ERS active. He's pulled that trigger. Here we go again. E-Bar looking for a decent slipstream. He hasn't seemed to be phased by Wizzy Boy's plan to try and get away, and the soft compounds will probably help him. But E-Bar getting all twitchy through there. Smoke Wisp and Matco looking decent as they finally get past that ghost version of the Red Bull who had retired. Chesney fighting away with the Mercedes and the Red Bull down to P8 and fighting away hard. If I'm not wrong, that brings E-Bar 12 seconds worth of penalties. Sam Ross, what's happened with Sam Ross? He's had a spin plus front wing damage and he's finally retired from the session, probably in anger. We go from 20 down to 15, 14 maybe, if I'm not wrong, 14. Wow, no words to explain what has happened. The Aston Martin of Oswald are fighting away here with the AlphaTauri, of Lewis. Potential podium up for grabs. We go down, there's Flight, and there's the Ferrari of Chesney fighting away here into this corner. Wheel to wheel, stays wheel to wheel, a bit of bumping, a bit of squeezing, and unfortunately not enough room left for any continuous racing through there. And that's a Mercedes resetting to track. I think that's York having a spin from what we saw on that rear view camera. And now it's a double spin. That's Haas and the AlphaTauri, who have now caused severe damage to their cars. No more safety car, probably going to be coming out with 2 laps now, penultimate lap beginning, and they're still battling, they're still fighting, it's still going on. Here comes the Aston Martin of Ozza Swazza, having to go half on the grass, but makes the move stick down the inside. The Aston Martin being pretty much shoved by the Mercedes. York trying to leave space, trying to find a way, but I mean, this is a pretty dirty battle if I've ever seen one, and still going on, still bumping away. Let's go down a little bit where we can see the Haas from a different angle. Oh, okay. Alright, Mercedes hitting that Haas, and I don't know how we'll feel about that. That's Ido having a spin. Unfortunate for him. There's Matko there. Yeah, real unfortunate there. Wizzy Boy doing well. Penultimate lap, 3.2 second gap. Done well, burn it down. 4-lap old softs, same as Gabby. And trying to maybe get into P2. But maybe those tyres are degrading quite quickly. I'm not sure about the actual strength and degradation speed of the soft compounds here in Australia. DRS is active for the final lap of the race. Purple final sector for Wizzy Boy. Here we go. This is it. E-bar. P5, 12 seconds worth of penalties. A bunch of people on 3 seconds worth of penalties. Black Charizard and P6. Chesney, still, I mean, there's still fighting happening. A bit of fighting between Fly and the Mercedes of Black Charizard. Chesney may be able to get an advantage out of this. Down in the lower midfield, I think people are more separated through there, and I think that is the case. Let's use a bit of... Oh, hello, Aston Martin of Ozza Swazza, who gets all out of place through there. Yellow flag comes out, but it's way too late for a safety car to come out at this point. Azza now up into P10. There's York in P9. Penalties applied. This is going to be a bit chaotic. Here comes a bunch of drivers through here, and that is a Williams of E-bar having a spin. And that is real unfortunate through there. But it's time to go to the Alpine, who has been absolutely clean through it all. He picks up a penalty, but it will not faze him. It will not trouble him. Clean from start to ending. Wizzy Boy wins the Australian Grand Prix here in Formula 2 for Season 2. Here in round 1, here in Australia, a bunch of movements still happening. Gabby down to P4, Fly down to P7, York crosses the line. In P8 for now, Azza trying to fight with the McLarens, who seems to be a blue flag. York in P9, Ozza Swazza P10, Ido finally crosses the line. Haas P10 makes the move up from Ozza Swazza. Yellow flag, sector 3, I think that's Eba going nice and slow for the checkered flag. Wow, what a race. Lots of safety cars, lots of chaos, but Wizzy Boy is your winner for the Australian Grand Prix. What a race. And there you can see the yes in the chat, and now we get to see the podium celebrations. Obviously Ebar picking up driver of the day. Here we go, there he is, using the Jarno Opmeer face, the kick of the shoe, and he celebrates for Alpine. He picks up the win. Lewis saying nice race, it raises the trophy, points to the fans. What a race. And now we get to spray the bubbly, spray the good stuff all over the crowd, all over the drivers. Celebrations for Wizzy Boy, celebrations on the podium. Mercedes, and if I'm not wrong, yeah, that's AlphaTauri following as well. Great race, amazing competitiveness, a bit all over the place at times, but not too bad. That's Wizzy Boy winning, even with a penalty. Black Charizard in P2, Lewis in P3, Gabby in P4, had a decent race, made some decent overtakes, started on 8th on the grid. Lewis P12, not bad, decent result. There's P5, Chesney, P6, burn it down, P7, Fly, P8, Azza, P9, where York, P10, Ido, P11, Ozza Swazza, P12, Ebar, P13, Matko, P14, Smoke Wisp, P15, Sam Ross, Lux, Logan, Scotty Boy, Nano, OX to finish it off. Wow. A lot of yelling on my behalf, a lot of excitement on my behalf, but I do think I have to bring it up. That was, the best way I can put it, a shit show. If I'm not wrong, that was 5 safety cars. Maybe 6. I lost count, which I shouldn't be doing. I lost count because that's how many safety cars that was. A lot of clips, yeah, and me and the rest of the bloody FIA have to deal with that now. Wizzy Boy did well. Last to first. Wasn't it P2 down to like... Was it last? Really? Crazy. I mean, yeah. Great result from Wizzy Boy. Congratulations on your first ever league race win. Chaos. Absolute chaos. P17. Nice. What a race. What a race, man. Oh, it's gonna be a busy couple of days. That's what I'm saying. Oh, my days, oh, my days, oh, my days. No words to describe that race. I came into this lobby with this screen, excited, thinking it was gonna be very competitive and clean. I end with absolute utter confusion, disappointment, and also happiness because it was an amazing race to commentate. Oh, man. Well, I'm gonna end stream here, everyone. I'm gonna get my gay ass to bed. So, adios, goodbye, and I will see you all in the next stream, I guess. Bye-bye.